I am pleased to call to order the inaugural meeting of the 2022 to 2026 Council of the District of Squamish.
Thank you, everybody, for coming tonight. I'd like to start by inviting Allan Harry forward for a greeting from the Squamish Nation.
First of all, I want to thank for inviting me to take part in this ceremony. I've never done this part before. And I'm going to do it just the way, we're always taught to use the drum. But I'm going to do it in the way of our Shaker Church. This year I became a minister for our Shaker Church, so I'm going to carry on and do a blessing. Put a blessing upon all the ones here and all the ones that came to those doors and the ones that could not be here. I want to put a blessing upon the ones that ran too and that didn't make it in. Put a blessing on them too. And all the ones that are elders. I just talking to my friend over there. I went to school with him years ago, 20 years ago. His mom is 97 this year. I was just amazed that she's still there and she's living by herself too. And my mom turned 91 this year. So I'm very happy to see some of the guys I went to school with here. I know he didn't know who I was at first. I told him it's an age thing. Your dad. Yeah. But again, I just wanted to welcome you all to our territory, the Squamish territory. I lived here almost all my life, and I moved to North Van for a few years, but I moved back after I retired. But then I'd seen this town grow so much and so fast. We used to knew everybody. We knew everybody that owned the stores, and they knew us by names. But now I don't know anybody. So I'm just going to share a blessing upon each and every one that came through the door. I'll say, pass them out, Dave, and that's Dave, Sunday, praise, I will serve. do the work in your name. Let's put a special blessing upon each and every one here, the ones that are serving in your children, the ones that are here, and the ones that are even. Put a blessing upon the ones that came to the door on us, to touch each and every one that things go away or okay. Put a blessing on the ones that could not be here, that didn't want to be here today. Put a blessing upon them. Put a blessing upon our elders, the ones that are in the hospital, and the ones that are struggling with their lives and the drugs and the alcohol. Put a blessing upon them. They'll find their way to say, pray, I'm asking your Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. I'll say,
Thank you. And now I'd like to turn it over to Honorable Judge Sutherland for the oaths and affirmations.
I'm just going to make a couple of comments very briefly before turning directly to the oaths and affirmations. And I'm going to stand because a lot of my comments are directed towards you folks, as well as members of the public. Firstly, thank you for inviting me here tonight to administer the oaths of office to the newly elected. Do you want that up? Okay. The newly elected Squamish District Council. It sounds cliche to say it's an honor and a privilege. Here, I can even hold it. Makes me feel kind of like an entertainer. It may sound cliche to say it's an honor and a privilege, but it really is, actually, when you consider the solemnity of this ceremony. I also want to acknowledge the importance and significance of the blessing given by Allan Harry, the Squamish Nation, and him attending the ceremony taking place on their traditional territory. As you've heard, my name is Judge James Sutherland. I'm a provincial court judge, and I want to congratulate each of you on being elected, and I also want to thank those who put their names forward but were not elected for participating in and strengthening the democratic process. For all of you elected members, the community owes you a profound debt of gratitude. It takes courage to step forward and take on the responsibility that you have of building a strong and vibrant community, and one with a quality of life to be proud of and to be comfortable in. Your courage and commitment will be tested through the sacrifices that you make in your personal lives to meet the difficult community challenges that it's now your responsibility to meet. And not everyone will have the same vision of how to meet those challenges. But you, who have been elected, you're the ones whose judgment your community has put their trust in to make the best decisions for the community, even if difficult and even if unpopular at times. And the making of tough decisions, that's something that comes with responsibility. Trust me, I know, and it's not always comfortable, but that's what comes with the job. But as you make those decisions, I'll just wrap up by saying, look, as you make those decisions, I urge you to remember that our society and your community functions because of the role and responsibility that you have undertaken, and because of your courage and commitment to maintaining a just and peaceful community. And that's the value that underlines these oaths and affirmations that I'm about to give you. Thank you. All right. Yeah, I'll grab a seat. Thank you. I'm going to start, excuse me, with Mayor Herford. You know, well, at some point you're going to have to come over here because you're going to have to sign. Come on over. It's not, all right.
What do you think? I think I'll
Want to
sit
sit or
with you.
stand?
I'll sit with you.
Yeah.
Everybody's sitting. It's
Yeah.
good.
Kick back, relax.
Yeah, very casual.
All right. I want, if you could repeat after me to start. I, Armand Herford, do solemnly affirm that.
I, Armand Herford, do solemnly affirm that.
And now I'm going to take you through these, and then I'll ask you again for your affirmation.
Okay.
You affirm that you are qualified to hold the office of mayor for the District of Squamish, to which you've been elected. That you have complied with the provisions of the Community Charter and Local Government Act in relation to your election to this office. That you will abide by all of the rules related to conflicts of interest under the Community Charter. That you will carry out your duties with integrity. That you will be accountable for the decisions that you make and the actions that you take in the course of your duties. That you will be respectful of others. That you will demonstrate leadership and collaboration. And that you will perform your duties of your office in accordance with the law. Do you so affirm?
I so affirm.
Thank you. Let me sign and then. I'm also going to take you through a code of conduct. And I'll ask you if you affirm, as a member of the District of Squamish Council, you are aware and affirm your commitment to the District of Squamish Code of Conduct bylaw and the respectful workplace policy that upholds the following principles. Thank you. That you recognize the diversity of backgrounds, interests, and views of your community. That you help to create an atmosphere of open and responsive government. That you conduct public affairs with integrity in a fair, honest, and open manner. That you respect one another and the unique role and contribution each of you have in making the district a better place to work and live. That you strive to keep the decision-making process open, accessible, participatory, understandable, timely, just, and fair. That you avoid and discourage conduct which is not in the best interests of the district, and that you'll treat all people with whom you come in contact with while performing your duties with respect, and that you will commit to continued work towards First Nations reconciliation. Do you so affirm, having read or having understood the District of Squamish Code of Conduct?
I so affirm.
Thank you. Thank you and congratulations.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you. Is this picking up okay? Sounds good. Okay. Eric Andersen. Come have a seat. All right. Do you, Eric Andersen, solemnly affirm that you are qualified to hold the office of councillor for the District of Squamish, to which you have been elected, that you have complied with the provisions of the Community Charter and Local Government Act in relation to your election to this office, that you will abide by all rules related to conflicts of interest under the Community Charter, that you will carry out your duties with integrity, that you will be accountable for the decisions that you make and the actions that you take in the course of your duties, that you will be respectful of others, that you will demonstrate leadership and collaboration, and that you will perform the duties of your office in accordance with the law. Do you so affirm?
I so affirm.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, and as a member of the District of Squamish Council, do you so affirm that you are aware and affirm your commitment to the District of Squamish Code of Conduct bylaw and the respectful workplace policy that upholds the following principles. That you recognize the diversity of backgrounds, interests, and views in your community. That you help create an atmosphere of open and responsive government. That you conduct public affairs with integrity in a fair, honest, and open manner. That you respect one another and the unique role and contribution each of you has in making the district a better place to work and live. That you strive to keep the decision-making process open, accessible, participatory, understandable, timely, just, and fair. That you avoid and discourage conduct which is not in the best interest of the district, and treat all people with whom you come in contact with while performing your duties with respect. That you commit to continued work toward First Nations reconciliation. Having heard and understood the District of Squamish Code of Conduct, do you so affirm?
I so affirm.
Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Andersen. Congratulations. All right. Do you want to repeat after me? I, John French, do solemnly affirm that
I do, John French, solemnly affirm that
you are qualified to hold the office of Councillor for the District of Squamish, to which you've been elected, that you have complied with the provisions of the Community Charter and Local Government Act in relation to your election to this office, that you will abide by all rules related to conflicts of interest under the Community Charter, that you will carry out your duties with integrity, that you will be accountable for the decisions that you make and the actions that you take in the course of your duties, that you will be respectful of others, that you will demonstrate leadership and collaboration, and that you will perform the duties of your office in accordance with the law. Do you so affirm?
I so affirm.
As a member of the District of Squamish Council, do you affirm that you are aware of your commitment to the District of Squamish Code of Conduct bylaw and the respectful workplace policy that upholds the following principles? That you recognize the diversity of backgrounds, interests, and views in your community. That you help create an atmosphere of open and responsive government. That you conduct public affairs with integrity in a fair, honest, and open manner. That you respect one another and the unique role and contribution each of you has in making the district a better place to work and live. That you strive to keep the decision-making process open, accessible, participatory, understandable, timely, just, and fair. That you avoid and discourage conduct which is not in the best interests of the district, and that you treat all people with whom you come in contact with while performing your duties with respect, and that you commit to continued work toward First Nations reconciliation. Firstly, do you understand those terms?
I do, yes.
And do you affirm the District of Squamish Code of Conduct?
I so affirm.
Thank you and congratulations, Councillor French. All right, repeat after me. I, Andrew Hamilton, do solemnly affirm that
I, Andrew Hamilton, do solemnly affirm that
you are qualified, actually I'll put it in first person, that I am qualified to hold the office of councillor for the District of Squamish to which you've been elected. I have complied with the provisions of the Community Charter and local government in relation to my election to this office, that I will abide by all rules related to conflicts of interest under the Community Charter, that I will carry out my duties with integrity, that I will be accountable for the decisions that I make and the actions that I take in the course of my duties. I'll be respectful of others, I'll demonstrate leadership and collaboration, and I'll perform the duties of my office in accordance with the law. Do you so affirm?
I so affirm.
Very good. Thank you. And do you affirm that as a member of the District of Squamish Council, that you are aware and affirm that your commitment to the District of Squamish Code of Conduct bylaw and the respectful workplace policy that upholds the following principles: to recognize the diversity of backgrounds, interests, and views in your community, to help create an atmosphere of open and responsive government, to conduct public affairs with integrity in a fair, honest, and open manner, to respect one another and the unique role and contribution each of you has in making the district a better place to work and live, to strive to keep the decision-making process open, accessible, participatory, understandable, timely, just, and fair, to avoid and discourage conduct which is not in the best interest of the district, and treat all people with whom you come in contact with while performing your duties with respect. Commit to continued work towards First Nations reconciliation as well. You understand those terms?
I do.
All right. Having heard those terms read to you and your understanding of them, do you so affirm that those conditions with respect to the District of Squamish Code of Conduct?
I so affirm.
Very good. All right, congratulations. All right. Please repeat after me. I, Chris Pettingill, do solemnly affirm that
I, Chris Pettingill, do solemnly affirm that
I am qualified to hold the office of councillor for the District of Squamish to which I've been elected, that I have complied with the provisions of the Community Charter and Local Government Act in relation to my election to this office, that I will abide by all rules related to conflicts of interest under the Community Charter, that I will carry out my duties with integrity, that I will be accountable for the decisions that I make and the actions that I take in the course of my duties, that I'll be respectful of others, that I will demonstrate leadership and collaboration, and that I'll perform the duties of my office in accordance with the law. Do you so affirm?
I so affirm.
Councillor Pettingill, as a member of the District of Squamish Council, I'm going to ask if you are aware and affirm, actually I'll ask you now, are you aware and affirm your commitment to the District of Squamish Code of Conduct bylaw and the respectful workplace policy that upholds the following principles: that you recognize the diversity of backgrounds, interests, and views of your community, that you help create an atmosphere of open and responsive government, that you conduct public affairs with integrity in a fair, honest, and open manner, that you respect one another, and the unique role and contribution each of you has in making the district a better place to work and live, that you strive to keep the decision-making process open, accessible, participatory, understandable, timely, just, and fair, that you avoid and discourage conduct which is not in the best interests of the district, and treat all people with whom you come in contact with while performing your duties with respect, and commit to continued work toward First Nations reconciliation. Councillor Pettengill, do you affirm that you have heard and understand the District of Squamish Code of Conduct, and that you will abide by it?
I so affirm.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Last one.
Somebody has to be the last one. All right, if you will repeat after me. I, Jenna Stoner, do solemnly affirm that
I, Jenna Stoner, do solemnly affirm that
I am qualified to hold the office of councillor for the District of Squamish, to which I have been elected. I have complied with the provisions of the Community Charter and Local Government Act in relation to my election to this office, that I will abide by all rules related to conflicts of interest under the Community Charter, that I will carry out my duties with integrity, that I will be accountable for the decisions that I make and the actions that I take in the course of my duties, that I will be respectful of others, that I will demonstrate leadership and collaboration, and that I'll perform the duties of my office in accordance with the law. Do you so affirm?
I so affirm.
As a member of the District of Squamish Council, you are aware and affirm your commitment to the District of Squamish Code of Conduct bylaw and the respectful workplace policy that upholds the following principles. You recognize the diversity of backgrounds, interests, and views in your community, that you help create an atmosphere of open and responsive government, that you conduct public affairs with integrity in a fair, honest, and open manner, that you respect one another and the unique role and contribution each of you has in making the district a better place to work and live, that you strive to keep the decision-making process open, accessible, participatory, understandable, timely, just, and fair, that you avoid and discourage conduct which is not in the best interest of the district, and treat all people with whom I come in contact with while performing your duties with respect, that you commit to continued work towards First Nations reconciliation. Do you understand those terms?
I do.
And do you affirm to be bound and conduct yourself in accordance with those with the Squamish Code of Conduct?
I so affirm.
Congratulations, Councillor Stoner.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And for those of you wondering, Councillor Greenlaw couldn't be with us tonight due to some prior commitments, much prior commitments. So she'll be sworn in at some point in the coming weeks before our first regular meeting. And thank you for sitting through that part. Now we're going to get on to the exciting part of some business we need to move at our first meeting here. So could I have someone? I'm looking for adoption of the agenda. Moved by Councillor Stoner, seconded by Who are you? Councillor Pettingill. So with that, anyone opposed? Thank you for that, yeah. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. And we're going to get smoother at this as we go on. So the first order of business is acting mayor appointments. And I'm looking for a mover of this motion. Councillor French moves, Councillor Hamilton seconds, and the motion is for the upcoming, appointing the acting mayor duties for the upcoming year. Any opposed? Motion carries. As I go through these that are a little bit shorter, I'll read them out before we move them, just for everyone here. So this is pursuant to the sections 784 and 786 of the Local Government Act. The following representatives be appointed to the Squamish-Lillooet Regional District Board: Mayor Herford with alternate Councillor French holding 5 votes, Councillor Stoner with alternate Councillor Andersen holding 5 votes, and Councillor Pettingill with alternate Councillor Greenlaw holding 3 votes.
Moved.
Moved by Councillor Stoner, second by Councillor French. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item, the Municipal Insurance Association of British Columbia. That the District of Squamish appoint Councillor Hamilton with alternate Councillor French as a voting delegate to represent the District of Squamish with the Municipal Insurance Association of British Columbia for the term November 1st, 2022 to December 31st, 2023. Moved by Councillor Pettingill, seconded by Councillor Stoner. Thank you. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have the Library Board. The District of Squamish appoint Councillor Hamilton to the Squamish Library Board for the term of November 1st, 2022 to December 31st, 2023. Moved by Councillor French, seconded by Councillor Stoner. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Next up, we have the Community Forest Board. The District of Squamish appoint Councillor Andersen, Councillor Greenlaw, and Mayor Herford to the Community Forest Board for the term of November 1st, 2022 to December 31st, 2023. Moved by Councillor Pettingill, seconded by Councillor French. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have the Economic Leadership Team. That District of Squamish appoint Councillor Pettingill and Mayor Herford to the Economic Leadership Team for the term November 1st, 2022 to December 31st, 2023. Moved by Councillor Stoner, seconded by Councillor Andersen. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next up, we have the Economic Partners Forum. That the District of Squamish appoint Councillor Andersen and Mayor Herford to the Economic Partners Forum for the term November 1st, 2022 to December 31st, 2023. Moved by Councillor French, seconded by Councillor Pettingill. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have the Food Policy Council. The District of Squamish appoint Councillor French to the Food Policy Council for the term November 1st, 2022 to December 31st, 2023. Moved by Councillor Hamilton, thank you. Second by Councillor Andersen. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have the Ocean Watch Action Committee. And the District of Squamish appoint Councillor Greenlaw to the Ocean Watch Action Committee for the term November 1st, 2022 to December 31st, 2023. Moved by Councillor Stoner, second by Councillor Pettingill. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, the Squamish Sustainability Corporation. That the District of Squamish appoint Councillor French to the Squamish Sustainability Corporation for the term November 1st, 2022 to December 31st, 2023. Moved by Councillor Hamilton, second by Councillor Andersen. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, the Squamish Community Housing Society. That the District of Squamish appoint Councillor Stoner with alternate Mayor Herford as the District of Squamish voting members to the Squamish Community Housing Society for a term ending December 31st, 2023. Moved by Councillor French, second by Councillor Pettingill. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have the 2023 Council meeting schedule. That the January 3rd, 2023, the August 1st, 2023, the August 15th, 2023, and the September 19th, 2023 regular business meetings be canceled, and that the District of Squamish approve the 2023 Council meeting schedule. Moved by Councillor Stoner, seconded by Councillor Hamilton. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next order of business. And all meetings move that fast. Just gotta keep up. Robust debate and all. Next, I'll move on to some remarks from our newly elected and sworn in councillors. So we'll start in the same order that we did our affirmation in. So we'll start with Councillor Andersen. Do you have some words for us?
Thank you, Mayor Herford. My Squamish name is Eschechuat Skoke. It means that I'm a certain kind of raven, Skoke, with distinct behaviors and characteristics. Maybe I have exhibited some of these behaviors here tonight in inviting certain people here, you know who you are, as witnesses, if you like, to refer to a Squamish Nation community practice. But throughout our audience here tonight, our active citizens, audience invited by myself and my colleagues, are active citizens who have volunteered and played important roles in the recent election. Not only on behalf of candidates, but for community values and causes you believe in. You took opportunity during the campaign period to introduce yourselves, your businesses, your industries, your gardens, your group's projects, facilities, needs, desires, and opportunities. Don't stop. Don't stop doing this. Observing past councils over the decades that I lived in Squamish, it is clear to me that we cannot predict the future, what may unfold for this council in the 4 years ahead. One thing that we can predict, I hope, is that our council will be taking on, overseeing some ambitious neighborhood planning initiatives, potentially also playing some role down the road in an initiative to begin the process of a new OCP revision, potentially. In these future and potential tasks, I believe, and I think we have all heard, that there are some values, some neighborhood values, that need to be taken better account of, or need more nuanced consideration. This is always the case. We can always improve in the nuanced considerations. I'll touch on some things that I will continue to be committed to. I'm convinced about the three-legged stool, environmental, social, and economic, together supporting us. I've said this during the election campaign, in an election campaign speech, and I don't mind repeating it. It does surprise me sometimes how such a basic concept can be sometimes neglected, overlooked, or have difficulty being interpreted. Sometimes it is difficult, clumsy, or not really possible for elected councillors to explain or elaborate on or discuss openly our decisions or the district's course of action as we might wish to. But we owe it to the citizens of the community that we can always be seen to be taking responsibility. That's what we, the elected, not passing the buck to our staff or to others, the province and so on, for what we should be responsible for. We also owe it, or we must strive for, a user-friendly council and a user-friendly municipal hall for all ages, peoples of all backgrounds and skills. We can always make improvements in this. Seats at the table is a phrase I used during the election campaign debates, or a table where there wasn't one at present. We're just starting. We've just now received our appointments from Mayor Herford. We'll find our way in shaping our style, our working harmony, our structures as a council. But in this, I'll hold to my priority of good stakeholder engagement and seats at the table. I hope to continue to work hard, listen hard, think independently, applying my experience and local knowledge where it may be useful for this job as councillor. Thank you.
Go ahead, Councillor French. Thank you, Councillor Andersen.
Thank you, Mayor Herford. Mayor Herford, it's going to take some adjusting.
Yeah.
4 years ago in this room, I talked about local leaders who came before us, and I named some people who inspired me with their leadership. In my excitement and nervousness 4 years ago, I neglected to mention one important person. Thankfully, 4 years later, I get a do-over. There really is a long list of people who helped me through the election, and I'm thankful for each and every one of those people and everything that they did. One person, though, was always there. One person pushed me harder than any others. One person asked me really tough questions and forced me to be absolutely certain everything I was doing was in the best interest of our community. From the creation of graphic design elements to editing text to creating an amazing election night spreadsheet, the commitment never wavered. I'm sitting here tonight because I have a partner who is willing to work as hard as me at election time. And I have a partner who understands my weaknesses. I have a patient partner who understands the importance of dedicating hundreds of hours over weekends and evenings to the duties of counselor. Reading staff reports, going through detailed engineering briefs, reading complex bylaws, legal agreements, and other district documents. Thank you, Heidi. Over the next 4 years, Squamish can count on me for a few things. First, I'll show up, just as I did last term. I'll be at all the regular meetings. My vacation time will be scheduled around the council schedule. I'll be accessible. This phone number is all over the place, including on my district website biography, which apparently it's going to be disappearing off of there because I now have a district phone, but nonetheless, you can call me anytime. I'll answer. I once chatted with a supposed Canada Border Services agent for 18 minutes. I'll listen. All opinions deserve to be heard. I especially want to hear opinions that are different from mine and contrary to popular opinion. I'll help whenever I can. Need help navigating something at Municipal Hall or with the district? I'll take it on for you. And you can count on me to be respectful as well. Respect was one of the keys to the success of the previous council. We have the good fortune of working with a District of Squamish staff team that displays extraordinary levels of respect and a group of council colleagues who, I believe, value respect just as much as I do. It is going to be a fun 4 years. I have big expectations, and I'm going to predict on behalf of my council colleagues that we're going to work cooperatively together to boldly put Squamish first, moving this community forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor French. Councillor Hamilton.
Thank you, Mayor Herford. I have this prepared speech in front of me, and as I'm looking at it, I think, let me simplify. I am humbled and I am honored by the confidence that this community has shown in me and all of the councillors here to make decisions on your behalf for the betterment of this community. So let me make a promise to you that every decision I make will be made in the effort to better this community. And I acknowledge that I will not be able to do that work, and this council will not be able to do that work without the support of you, the support of this community, the support of the district staff, the support of our families, the support of our employers. And so on that note, I'd like to sincerely thank my family for the sacrifices they've made and the sacrifices they're going to make in the coming 4 years. I'd like to thank my employer for giving space for me to contribute to the community in this way. And with that, I'd just like to thank the rest of you for spending your time here with us tonight. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Hamilton. Councillor Pettingill.
Thank you. It was an interesting 4 years, and pandemic and all kinds of emergencies, and then we saw just enormous spending and attack ads, and I don't think we knew what the outcome was going to be. As a council, I think we responded the best way we could by putting our heads down and just trying to do the best every meeting that we could for our community. I think the election results showed that we were aligned with the community and the community was paying attention to the work we put in. I really appreciate that, and we couldn't have done this without your support. Each election, I've had more supporters and volunteers, and I kind of feel like that's probably made more of a difference in the outcome, the number of votes received, than my campaign speeches and campaign materials. It makes such a difference, those of you who are in this room, and it just means the world. We have many challenges ahead, and I'm very thankful that we had Mayor Elliott and Councillor Race to set us up and put us on a good path and really show us what it means to be a strong council. Tonight we have an opportunity to celebrate our new council and, more importantly, our community. Very grateful to have that opportunity to celebrate with all of you, and I'm looking forward to serving our community with you for the next 4 years, but also with the other 6 people that were elected. From my perspective, it's an ideal outcome, and so I'm very excited for the next 4 years. And just a final thank you to all of our partners, and in my case especially Kelly. It is really tough to be a partner of someone that's elected. You take on some of the feedback, we'll say, and you can't always respond, and there's a lot of late nights and just reading, and you know, your partner's sometimes frustrated about agendas and meetings, and so it is a lot, and so thank you, Kelly, and thank you to everyone who supports their partner in being an elected official. And I will turn it over to Councillor Stoner, and once again, thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. It's a real pleasure to be sitting up here again to take the affirmation of office and to have the privilege of representing this amazing community for another 4 years. I know the start of this meeting was maybe a little bit bland and dry, but I can't speak to how important it was to have the weight of signing our affirmation of office and our code of conduct in front of a judge and in front of all of you. That is what sets us up for a really good council term, because it means that we've set the foundation for a strong code of conduct amongst those who will be representing our community. I want to begin by extending a really heartfelt thanks to my friends and supporters who showed up for me in so many ways throughout my campaign. Some are in this room, but many of them are not. It's often said that it takes great courage to stand for elected office. And while I think that this is true in some ways, I think that it's really made a heck of a lot easier when you have a group of amazing, skilled, engaged, and compassionate friends and supporters who are willing to have your back no matter what. I'm not going to name names because the chances are is that I will forget some of them. But you know who you are, and I want to say thank you. You showed up to strategize with me, to make websites, knock on doors, donate to my campaign, take care of my kid, spread the word, corrected misinformation online. And you were the voices of reason, reminding me to spend less time online and more time talking to real humans, which I think was a real critical part of this campaign. You kept me grounded. You kept me laughing throughout the roller coaster that is campaigning. I do need to give one special shout out to my husband, Kyle, who's at the back with our 14-month-old. Hi, Ainsley. I couldn't have done this without you, Kyle. Thank you for your continued support and understanding of my inconsistent schedule and tendency to overcommit to all of the things. While campaigning often feels like a lot of work, it's actually now that the real work starts. I'm so looking forward to getting back to the council table and getting to work with this new council. I've used this analogy before, but I think it's really fitting. Council is more like a team sport. You can't get anything done on your own. So although many of us are returning, we have a few new members, it's undoubtedly that our dynamics will shift, and I look forward to getting to know this new team, finding common goals, shared objectives, and engaging in passionate debate, which at times will undoubtedly be contentious, but hopefully always respectful. To our staff, the council team wouldn't get very far without all of you. Thank you in advance for always getting us the information we need to make informed decisions, keeping us on side, and pushing us to be leaders. We were able to accomplish a lot in our last term on the backdrop of a global pandemic. We should all be proud of that work. However, the challenges, issues, and opportunities in our community haven't waned at all, and so I hope that we can continue to work together to maintain that high bar of service, innovation, and leadership at the district that we're known for both in our community as well as across the province. Finally, I want to acknowledge that this council, to me, falls short on representation in many ways. We're lacking in gender diversity, racial diversity, diversity of abilities, of income, and I also don't believe our age demographics reflect those in our community. There's a variety of reasons for this, many of which are systemic, but I want to call it out here tonight for 2 reasons. First, the system doesn't change overnight. So if we want future councils to look more diverse and representative than what we have here tonight, we need to do the hard work today to dismantle those barriers to entry for those who might be interested in running in future councils or future elections. Second, I think it's important to call it out at our inaugural meeting so that we are aware of our blind spots as a council. I personally commit to working hard over our next term to elevate the diversity of voices that are in our community, but that are not around this table. And I hope my council colleagues will do the same. Thanks everybody for being here tonight, and we'll look forward to the next 4 years of working together.
Thank you, Councillor Stoner. I'll start by thanking all of you for coming out tonight and being with us to witness this this event that I know everyone at this table is going to remember for the rest of our days. Also, I'd like to thank Allan Harry for the wonderful blessing from the Squamish Nation and starting our term off in such a wonderful and generous way. Thank you. Thank you to His Honor, Judge Sutherland, for swearing us in and ensuring we felt the weight and responsibility of our new roles. Thank you to Staff Sergeant Gareth Bradley and his partner, whose name I didn't catch at the start of this, for putting on the red surge, keeping us in line, and ensuring we start out on the right side of the law. And of course, Devin Biln of the Black Tusk Caledonia Pipes and Drums Band, not only for making sure everyone knew we were coming, but showing us the way. I thought a lot about this day, these words, this room, how it would feel to be here with you tonight. And I totally forgot about these chains. But nothing prepared me for this. I sit here with my entire being filled with gratitude. I'm so grateful that I have had the privilege of being born and raised right here in the inspiring, unceded territory of the Squamish Nation. Squamish is not only my home, it's part of who I am, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to continue to serve this town and its people for another 4 years, now as your mayor. The last 4 years have been marked by intense learning, and I'm thankful to have been able to experience Mayor Elliott's kind and strong brand of leadership. From her, I learned the importance and power of consensus building, diplomacy that starts off quietly, and generosity as a chair, and sharing the limited power that comes with being a mayor. There's not a single meeting where I didn't learn something from you, Mayor Elliott. Our community owes you a debt of gratitude for your service over the last 8 years. Thank you. I'm not going to lie, I'm a little jealous of your well-deserved upcoming vacation. I'll be here working hard to uphold the standard that you set. I would like to extend my gratitude to my wife and campaign manager, Talita Orozco-Herford. You may know her as Leah. Love, your unwavering support has been instrumental in not only this achievement, but also nearly every other accomplishment in my life. I couldn't fathom doing any of this without you at my side. Thank you. I'm grateful to Josh and my daughter Jada for their support and for helping to keep me young at heart. Also, I'd like to thank my parents, Sheila and John, for teaching me the value of community, empathy, hard work, and for the unconditional love they've always shown me. I am thankful for the support of my family from near and far. Thank you so much to the amazing team that directly helped the campaign and to the many folks that stepped forward to offer help that I was unable to harness. Thank you. And also thank you to all the campaign donors. Your generous donations were instrumental in getting the message out. I'm grateful to all the unknown and unnamed folks that fixed my signs when they happened to fall over. Most importantly, I want to thank you, the people of Squamish, that voted for me, and well, for all of us sitting here before you. I do not take your trust lightly, and I will do my level best to uphold this trust as I perform my duties on your behalf over the next 4 years. I pledge to work constructively with Council in a way that represents the best interests of the entire community. Elections are rarely easy. However, this election process was particularly challenging. Voters had to not only research the candidates, but navigate a relentless onslaught of misinformation, attack campaigns, social media trolls, both real and manufactured, while attempting to decipher the intentions of the anonymous people or entities responsible. This was no mean feat and has left a mark on all of us. It not only alienated an unknown number of voters, but significantly reduced the pool of candidates willing to step forward. And I applaud those that did put their name forward, and particularly those sitting with me here tonight for their collective ability to plot a course on the high road. These tactics started nearly a year ahead of the election and were clearly intended to interfere with our democracy. I commend the voters for their choices in the faces of these forces. Now that the campaign and election process has concluded, it's important to recognize these unnamed outside forces are still out there, likely nursing their wounds and undoubtedly assessing their next move. I want you to know that I will do everything in my power to fight these forces. Squamish is my home, and I'll do my level best to protect it. These tactics have no place in any democracy, and they'll not be tolerated in our home. Thank you, Squamish, for rejecting big money spent on negative campaigning. Please remain vigilant, engaged, check your sources, and ask questions. Squamish is not broken, no matter what these anonymous folks have tried to tell us. I will work hard with the council and the community to repair the damage caused and endeavor to address the fractures they attempted to exploit. In the coming weeks and months, this council will work together to define its collective priorities and goals for the next 4 years. Squamish is facing complex challenges and opportunities. Realizing the full, true potential of Squamish, our home, will take all of us working constructively and enthusiastically together. And when I say all of us together, I mean not only those of us elected, but the community as a whole. Yes, all of you. I'm humbled by the support, inspired by the weight of the role, and so very confident that we can achieve great things together, leaving no one behind. Thank you. And before I entertain a motion to terminate, I'm told that there are snacks at the back of the room, and I'd like everyone to take advantage of that and stick around. You've all been invited here tonight so that we have a chance to visit and celebrate this next chapter together. So I look forward to doing that with you. And with that, I'll entertain a motion to terminate. Councillor Stoner off to a hot start. Councillor French, any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you so much, everybody.
Don't have anyone to fight anymore.
Good job, team. Nice work.